sometime yesterday morning with the violence in our neighboring island of Guadeloupe, which resulted in 3 Dominicans' deaths. Last weekend we had 2, and maybe a week or 2 before that, another. So our young people are dying. I'm going to repeat at this time because we expect to be joined sometime later during the hour by the security minister, because I did ask him about whether they have any measures to curtail what's going on in Guadeloupe with our young men who seem to be dying like flies in Guadeloupe. So, just as a preamble, I want to introduce us Mr. Ezra Winston, who spoke to us yesterday about the continued violence. I will delve into other subjects during the hour. So let's first listen to our correspondent in Guadeloupe, Mr. Ezra Winston, Dominican, based in Guadeloupe, who said the situation is hot and very sad, and explains to us some of the reasons as to why this is going on with our young men. Also have a statement too from Mr. Leroy Radical Charles as the cultural ambassador, who also added his voice to the ongoing saga. So let's first listen to Mr. Ezra Winston. Ezra.
It's a group picture. It's a sad story, but it's all revolves around motorcycle theft. That's basically what the bottom line is. And a lot of people now are afraid to ride the motorcycles, because even after the death of this young these 2 gentlemen in Guadeloupe, there's one cyclist who said that he was chased by 2 other men on motorcycles, and they shot after him. I guess they were trying to get his motorcycle. And the police made a raid on Friday in one of the ghetto areas of Pointe-à-Pitre, which is called Kuzamia. They said they found drugs and they found other stuff, but and illegal guns. And it has become a concern, a great concern to officials in Guadeloupe. And they said the illegal guns are coming from Dominica and are mostly being used by Dominicans. It's like on Dominican crime. And the population is getting agitated now. People are starting to say, like, they're going to start to fight back if these things continue.
So you're saying most of it is as a result of theft of motorcycles, motorbikes? By who?
Yeah, by Dominicans, unfortunately. As it is alleged that they hijack people, they steal the bikes, put them on boats, and backdoor, like you said, to Dominica. So that's basically a trade, but the people are decided now they will fight back, calling on authorities to do whatever they can, do whatever is in their power to go ahead and fight.
I'm hearing too that it has a lot to do with the drugs, the backdoor drug trade going on there between Guadeloupe and Martinique as well.
Well, yes, all of that is associated. It's like some of them exchange the drugs for bikes, exchange bikes for drugs. So the Dominicans would bring the drugs in, get bikes by whatever means necessary, put it on boats, and head back to Dominica. And whatever happens next. But that's basically what it is. That's why the police went into the ghetto. I think that's where one of the guys was shot in. It's a place that like Kuzamia. It's he was shot there, and the police made a raid on Friday. But unfortunately, it was too late. They should have probably done the raid weeks ago. And they know where the drug is circulated. But that's about what happened.
So a lot of it has to do with revenge killings there in Guadeloupe.
Well, yeah, they say it's revenge. One kill one, and that's a recurring decimal, unfortunate recurring decimal, a recurring cycle that needs to be really addressed by some means necessary by providing employment for these young men instead of going and steal bikes and take them to Dominica, find gainful employment, provide them with employment that they can buy their own bikes and not try to steal and covet somebody else's bike. And if you go into the point of losing their life for a motorcycle that doesn't belong to them.
So the French are now reacting even more aggressively with this.
Well, yeah, they know that, and they have already called on the Dominican authority to do something about illegal guns trafficking between Guadeloupe and Dominica, and they're still calling again, and I'm not sure what next step they're going to take. But this is becoming something that's really annoying and irritating. There was a protest on Saturday. Bikers blocked the streets because they're afraid now to ride on their bikes. They said that people, allegedly Dominicans, chase them, sometimes two or three of them, chase them on bikes, trying to even shooting out at them to have them to abandon the bike, which they
Uh-oh.
have. Yeah, so.
That's unfortunate. But you spoke about the authorities asking the Dominican authorities to step in. Do you know if any arrangements are being made or anybody from Dominica as it relates to security are having discussions with the officials there in Guadeloupe?
Well, yes, they've had discussions. Even the French authorities have come to Dominica some time ago back, and they did make it clear. They did tell the public that they were in Dominica trying to They met with their Dominican counterparts, asking them to take steps to stem the illegal trade between Guadeloupe and Dominica, and nothing has happened. So I guess the next step is with the French government. Whatever they decide to do, they're going to
But
decide to do, because
go ahead. Go
they
ahead.
said there's no cooperation from Dominica, unfortunately.
There's no cooperation from Dominica.
Yes.
And you said it has to do, with unemployment, not unemployment, because a lot of young
Well,
men are leaving Dominica going to Guadeloupe to find, things to do.
well, not they're not going to seek employment in Guadeloupe because Guadeloupe itself has a high rate of unemployment. So, but I think if they're provided with proper gainful employment in Dominica, that would probably deter them from going to Guadeloupe and still probably go to Guadeloupe and buy the bike and come back home. But again, yeah, it's not a question of, oh yeah, unemployment is always bad. Idle hands leads to mischief, as we know. So that we could say is connected in every way.
Do we have an extradition treaty with the French in terms of Martinique or Guadeloupe? Because I see
I
a lot of young men come to Dominica, may have been sent back by the police or gendarme, but they keep going back. So what's the problem here?
Well, we know that from whatever, there's always
Immemorial,
been
yes.
that backdoor trade, yeah, between Guadeloupe and Dominica. As to the extradition treaty, I'm not sure there is an extradition treaty, but a lot of them commit crimes in Guadeloupe. Even Guadeloupeans commit crime in Guadeloupe and just take the boat across to Dominica and leave until they're ready they're caught or ready to go back to Guadeloupe and face their trial. So I'm not sure about the extradition treaty, and even there was an extradition treaty, or even there is an extradition treaty, it's not really respected. So nothing in terms of once somebody is charged. The thing is, once they serve out their term, their sentence, if they're condemned and are sentenced to jail in Guadeloupe, once they serve out their term, they're being deported to Dominica. But that doesn't mean they cannot come back, because they do come back to Guadeloupe through the back door, get caught again, go back to jail, be deported, and it's like a sad recurring decimal.
But I'm hearing too as well. We have some Dominicans even serving sentences in France, as far as France.
Yes, because the prisons in Guadeloupe are overcrowded, and it depends on the nature of the crime. If the crime is the nature of the crime, they send them to France, where they face harsher treatment, harsher punishment, because the prisons in France are really rough. So they send them to France to serve their sentence on instead of leaving them in Guadeloupe. Like I said, it's overcrowded, and the nature of the crime. They send them to France to probably try to get them to break away from whatever influenced them in Guadeloupe. But they still they go back to Guadeloupe, then they come back to Dominica and back and forth, and some of them just keep going down that downward spiral.
But let's talk solutions, Ezra. You're one man of experience. You know very well is what's going on in Guadeloupe and Martinique, and Guadeloupe and Dominica, Martinique and Dominica. What you think can help resolve? Because I'm concerned because I had a family member on the weekend who one of the persons who was shot down there. Um, Going forward, how do we resolve this? How do we resolve this?
Like I said, provide gainful employment for our young people and show them the way without being gainfully employed and telling them saying no to drugs, but yes to what? We got to provide them an alternative to going to steal a bike in Guadeloupe. What does it benefit them? And what do they do with the bikes in Dominica? So probably all of that we got to look into, and the police in Dominica have to ensure that these bikes are licensed and insured to be on the road. And if they know they can't ride the bikes in Dominica in all immunity, then they won't be going to steal. So the problem has to be solved in Dominica, making sure that they have a title for the bike and making sure that these bikes are licensed and insured to be riding on the streets in Dominica. If they can't improve this and they can't ride the bikes, I don't think they would come to Guadeloupe to ride bikes, to steal bikes.
It's very unfortunate, and some people are now sad that a member or two of their families have been gunned down in Guadeloupe. So
Yeah,
I see,
yeah.
I smell what's going on. Then the Dominican lads who go to Guadeloupe, Ezra, and the French, as a matter of fact, come to Dominica and being told and commit such crimes because they follow the individuals that come to Guadeloupe and come to Dominica and commit crimes and go back to Guadeloupe. So is a recurrent decimal here.
Yeah, it's like I said, Dominica is a free port. Like anybody can come in and out. So the friends that say, okay, if you guys can come to Guadeloupe to kill, we can come to Dominica to kill and go back to Guadeloupe. So it's just a back and forth that will never end until we find the bottom of the bottom of the problem and try to solve it from below, from bottom up or top down. Like I said, if the guys knew that they could not ride the bikes in Dominica in all immunity, they would not come to Guadeloupe to try to get bikes and ride in and to go back home.
Because in recent times I've seen a lot of action being taken by the police. Give that to them. A lot of scooters are being taken off the roads, not licensed, not insured, and things are happening. So I'm hoping that the police in Dominica continue to engage in such activities so we can try, if you will, to resolve the problem there. But it's very very sad what's going on. Young men
Well,
killing each other.
it's not only the police; it's also the criminal justice system. That there must be some consequence for whatever crime you commit that you've got to face. If the police know that we take a bike from a guy, nothing's going to happen because he's going to walk away scot free. Then the police too are going to be disappointed and do nothing. So if they from the DPP, the prosecutor, whatever it is,
The minister,
that
security minister, yes.
yeah, exactly the Minister of National Security, that falls right under his portfolio. So these are the things that he's looking into to preserve the life of our young men. I mean, yeah, young able men just losing their life over a simple motorbike, and it's just a recurring decibel of gang violence. It doesn't make much sense.
Mr. Ezra Winston again, thank you very much. Young people killing each other over drugs, over bikes, over guns. Actually, I did speak with the security minister, and he told me he had some meetings. So as soon as he's ready, he will engage. I will talk to him about the ongoing problems with the Dominican youth in Guadeloupe. But earlier, I got a message from Mr. Leroy Wallace Chance as the cultural ambassador. He too is concerned about the young people and what's going on. with the level of crime. Leroy Wallet Charles.
This is a message from the Creole ambassador of language and culture in Dominica, Prince Wallis. Our ancestors endured the unimaginable. They withstood the brutality of the whip, the horror of rape, the agony of chains, the pain of being stripped of dignity and freedom. Yet they rose, they fought, they survived so we could live free. Today we are no longer enslaved by chains, but some of us are still imprisoned in our minds. Youth violence, violence against women, disrespect, destruction. These are the new chains that hold us back. It is time to break the cycle. Young people, you are the dream our ancestors fought for. You are the new warriors. Fight not with your fists or hate, but with knowledge, respect, and unity. To every man and woman listening, violence against women must end and end now. Youth violence must stop and stop now. We owe it to those who suffered before us. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to the future. Let us not betray their sacrifice. Let us free our minds and lift up each other and build a nation of peace, pride, and power. Let's break the chains once and for all. Let's live in unity. Let's rise as one people, one blood, one nation, Dominica. This message by the Creole ambassador of language and culture in Dominica, Prince Wallis. God bless the people of Dominica.
We'll come back for your phone calls, and again, I'm expecting a call from security Mr. Blackmore, because there's growing concern about what is going on here. The bike and drug situation in Guadeloupe is a spillover of the kind of country and the kind of economy Dominica has created: lack of employment, increased drug, and the high level of corruption in the country. Regardless of the perspective of our government as a whole, need to monitor and implement better policies that can reduce our issues resulting from joblessness. Let's take a few phone calls. Hello, yes.
Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my brother. How you doing?
Very interesting program, Matt. I listened to the guy reporting for you from France, from Martinique,
from Guadeloupe.
And Matt, what the man saying, I concur with him, because it's long overdue that our government is not cooperating. Matt, you see me, I'm always a person. People always intend of blaming young people, but you don't always blame young people, Matt. If you don't give young people an opportunity, you can't just always blame them. You are a government. Matt, I want to appreciate you for what you have been doing, because it looks like you are the government. All the concerns that we have in this country, you seeking clarity to bring address to it, and I appreciate you. That's not for you, Matt. That's for our government. Our government is 25 years. Our government is not focused on the young people. We cannot go and protest. You bring everybody to the courts because you come in and protest, but you're not paying attention to your youth. Matt, I'm not telling you what to do. You have a right to call your Minister of National Security to come and address you. But what he's coming to tell you doesn't make any sense to me, Matt. Because when you tell me you have 25 years as a government, that has been happening for so many years, and the government not paying attention for the youth. The only time they pay attention to the youth for a vote. You see what a vote doing? A vote is destroying a country. You do not do those things. You need to sit down, address the situation of the young people, see how you can use them. Stop playing politics that have Dominica like that. You see what a vote doing? Just for a vote. See the result of the young people. The government is expired. They need to come out from there. And what Blackmore going to tell you is just irrelevant, because our government 25 years don't see that coming. So many years. You don't have to be the one doing everything else in the country, Matt. It's a shame.
Let me ask you a question, just aside. I heard this ballot man was missing, and Scott said this morning. Any word on that? Is he found? Oh, I think we missed that. But yes, I got some information to suggest that he may have been found. So if you're listening to me again, just give me a heads up, okay? Hello, talk to me, yes?
Another man missing Scott again, Matt.
I heard that Mr. Ballot, yes, I think I had that report.
Yes, a couple years ago during the by-election, that remember that man had gone missing?
Mm-hmm.
And up to now, we never heard nothing. Where he disappeared to his children, come all the way from England to check for him, and up to now, we hear nothing, Matt.
Well, I think based on some information I received, that's what I'm trying to confirm, that he may have been found. He may have been found, but I'm trying to confirm at this time. Okay?
But let me tell you that now.
Tell me.
You see, Dominican, I don't think sometimes some of us know what we want. You see, Trinidadians voted Camilla Prasad back. You see, they had her there for 5 years, and they feel Annie Robert was the best thing since sliced bread. You see, they bring her back again because they know she's the people, she's the person for the people, because she's working with the people. Annie Robert, more power to Annie Robert, because Annie Robert was always on the ground doing their homework. So that is why Trinidadians voted all of them out voted them in overwhelmingly. They clean sweep because if they're not voted there yet, although they try to vote and bribe the people, police arrested them read the skulls. Police arrested them right-handed for bribing the people in Dominica. Them police are blind like to that. Have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day, blue, but you're off the tangent, eh? We spoke about the Trinidad elections this morning. We're talking about what's going on in Guadeloupe at this time. Matt, you're alone that care, man. What happens to these young men? And what about the mothers? The amount of young men that have been dying over here over the years. You haven't heard one mother come out and cry out for her son. The mothers of the dead men not joining together to try to stop what's going on in general. They not say anything at all. First time I see that. All they care about is voting for Skerrit and begging. They don't care about their children. Look at how much young men smoking weed like water. They're drinking, and you hear any parent speaking about that. So the person is basically saying parents don't seem to care. I mean, but I know one of the young men who died on the weekend. You know, the whole family is devastated. Maybe they should speak out. 449-3095-96 and 97. Hello, talk to me.
Yeah, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Yeah, Matt, I listened to one of my fellow villager calling you a while ago. And Matt, I agree with him 100%, He commended you for always asking solution. Mr. G like to ask for solution as well. But Matt, when you give solution, they don't listen to that. They don't listen to you. And every time you keep on asking. So he's not telling how to run your show. I glad he did not try to direct your show. But what he said is true, Matt. Every time you ask him for solution, you get no solution. You see what I'm going to give you now, Matt. See if it will work. All they have to do is work together with the police in Guadeloupe. Every biker have a serial number. Let the police in Martinique furnish them with all the serial numbers. They get the serial numbers in Dominica and stop every bike. Once the guys know if they stole or steal the bike, they'll be caught. They will stop. It is easy. See if they'll do that. Let's see. When the Minister of Security comes, if he comes, tell him I say so. Get in touch with the police in Guadeloupe. Ask them for all the serial numbers of bikes that are missing. Furnish it to them in Dominica, to the police. And if the police is working in Dominica, bike thieving in Guadeloupe and Martinique, that's finished. Thank you, Mark.
All right, solution there, 449-3095-96. Maybe I should try to reach out to one a senior police officer, maybe in traffic, to find out just what is going on there. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Are you there? Yes.
My beloved brother, blessings. What's up?
Blessings to you.
Matt, it is very, very, very sad. You listen to the question was raised, how these guys are licensing and insure these bikes. They haven't got proper document format. You have heard that?
Mm-hmm.
What date was it? We're talking about it. And then I think it's yesterday. And when the question came out about the Rosopal rep, and you said you have to discontinue that because there is no evidence. And 100% I agree with you. But not even within the traffic department, the police, and politicians as well. How can I go to Guadeloupe, Matt, steal a man bike? I haven't got the official documents. I haven't got receipt of purchase or custom documents or nothing, and my bike get registered.
Good question.
It is very interesting. Huh?
I'm saying good question.
And Matt, it's very interesting. If you listen to Skerrit yesterday, Matt, it came out so quickly and then it disappeared. He talked
if the CBI would be discontinued or died, use that thing, what would you inherit? Matt, did you pick that up, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you need to go back to that, It's the manner in which, from nowhere, in the context in which everybody has benefited, even the goods at the hospital. I'm right there with you, Matt, I coming back there.
Mm-hmm.
The goods at the supplies at the hospital and roads and houses, they build and they give people houses. And Matt, it is sad, the young men, Matt, even the other day they resurrected it again, talking about the industrialization of marijuana. When Lennox come out overseas with that idea, he was smelling marijuana. Oh, Lennox maybe go up there, he smoke all his marijuana and he come in and talk about, boom! Out of nowhere, they give them a portion, couple grams of marijuana, maybe 2 ounces of fruit trees and all of that to smoke, man. Not creating an industry where we would have them same young men, they're busy on the bush, cultivating the marijuana with a specified grade or based on the chemicals or the fertilizer, whatever they need or they recommended the young men would be doing and making monies out of marijuana. But no, that is going to make them independent, man, from any politicians that can come and tell them, I don't want you to listen to Q95. Oh, I see blessings is your friend these days. Well, it's either me or blessings, eh? And that's how, they will not say it like that, Matt, but in a very subtle way. All of a sudden, a friend of yours is labor, hey, you used to talk, One time somebody see Curtis Mafia and I talking. Could you just a casual Curtis, what you telling blessings? Matt, right by courts there, you there with me, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people in a survival mode. So if they can go and snitch on Matt, first carry it, and then it's, oh, you working at DBS. Matt, you working at DBS? No, Curtis, we're talking about. And guess what, Matt? And he have the people in a survival mode. So these young men, Matt, they have hopes, they have dreams, they have aspirations. They're ambitious. They want to be somebody according to as people say it already. So look at the option they have.
I did raise a question, Blessings, yesterday to the Prime Minister. I said, it's been suggested that the NEP is being used as a political football. There are people there who don't support the policies of the Labour Party, and they've been threatened in terms of their jobs. So there's a lot of fear out there. The Prime Minister denied it, but I'm saying that there's a lot of fear. People are afraid to speak for what they believe, huh?
Much less to stand up, Matt. And you were telling that to Mr. Alcindor this morning. No wonder he talk about how the dirty linen is making, fungus in a corner, but they're not washing it. I am just saying, Matt, I am not making excuses for young men. My brothers and sisters, if you can bleed the blood out of stone, do it, but try to be safe. The going Guadeloupe and stealing man thing, if they don't catch you, they will kill you with obia. Just pick up maybe a 2,000, 3,000 euro and send you to your grave because you come right in the man's place, steal his bike, or can come to Dominica. Up to now, they're still growing bananas. Not the bananas falling from the tree. The bunch of bananas falling from the tree before it reach maturity, Matt, if I may state that correctly. The roads, Matt, is in a deplorable state. And Scary talking about farming and how he's a big farmer and he's independent and all foolishness. Matt, the young men and women, they are frustrated. I am asking them to keep their heads up. Do not lose hope. Get to know where you're voting. Even if they pay you money, take the money, it's your money, it's your passport money. Do not vote for these criminals to have them retained into that fortunate position in which they're in. And then closing, Matt Blackmore. Matt Blackmore. You see, you don't have to be calling him. Matt, you know the amount of things that happening in secret. That's why I tell man, when they tell me things, not everything I can say on radio. You remember when Blackmore was handing out votes in Point Michel or West Sufuria or somewhere, man?
Loubier, Point Michel, Sophia. Mm-hmm.
Look, yes. And he said, remember those boats that used to put fish, eh? Only fish. When you see them hypocrites there, these fuck tongues not like a serpent, when it put out its tongue, you see in two peaks. They know exactly what is happening. But they are creatures of convenience that will allow young men to die. And maybe some of them, they know how to pick them up when they need blood. I don't know. And all of a sudden, you see young men in pool of blood. Either somebody stab them, shoot them, or they die on a motorcycle. These guys are saying nothing, but they want to be on radio coming and talk about electoral reform. Electoral reform is not for Blackmore and Scarrett. It's the Electoral Commission which they purchase, and the majority of passport sellers of the members of the Electoral Commission. The majority of them, the three of them, passport sellers, Matt. So when Blackmore want to leave all relevant issues of security, national security, he chose to become or transformed into the Minister of National Insecurity. Matt, it is bloody sad.
All right. Again, as I said, Mr. Blackmore did promise to speak to us as it relates to security and what's just going on there. Illegal trade going on between Guadeloupe and Martinique, and young men dying every day, every weekend there in Guadeloupe. Dominican guys, eh? And there's an illegal trade between backdoor with bikes coming in. Somebody just told me here that Matt, one guy was caught. One guy was caught with two bikes coming through the back door and taken to the court, and he walked out with his two bikes. Hello on the telephone, are you there?
Yes, my brother, what's up, man?
All right.
Okay, well, you see the Guadeloupe thing, I want you to play the clipping of Take a Boat and Come Back Door, wherever. You must play that clipping when you're talking about that, because you remember it's in our DNA. So the backdoor thing now, remember it's a transaction, and Dominicans don't give me last. Let us stop blaming the Prime Minister for people that go in backdoor. Okay? It's not scary that causing that. I say that because women say it's not scary that causing that. It's who that have the real fast boat and cause them to be in that. They know themselves. I cannot call their name on 295, but they know themselves. When that little boy take a transaction and he go Guadeloupe, and you give him stocks to go and sell, and he do bring it, and he tell you the Frenchman take it or whatever. You understand? You have to understand that, because you underpaying him. So he getting pissed now. You put him on the fast boat, half an hour, he already Guadeloupe from Dominica. Coast Guard cannot see that boat, and they know that. You understand? They know it. I can't call all the names, but you know it. So the little boy get pissed, and he make a boat, because he make two wrongs, and he make how much? 15,000 euros. Break it down. The man is a big man. He have his own boat, so he can go back to how he wants. But you know what happened? After he get his little drugs that you introduce him to, and he bring it Guadeloupe, he bring it for a Frenchman. No, he don't know that Frenchman for that, but that Frenchman is a businessman. But that Frenchman is a man that's stealing bikes. So the bikes always have all the paper from it. Now he give him his thing for whatever, and then he get that bike. No, you saying the man steal the bike. He did not steal the bike. He made transaction for the bike with the papers, and then he come back though, because custom want to charge him so much money, and if he passes the bike, he will save some money. Your custom could be making money or taking the same bike. So we have to blame custom also for the bad habits they have, that overcharging the fellas and not knowing the information of the bikes that passing in their face. So that is one solution. Stop do this kind of thing.
All right, caller, thank you. It's 146. More solutions being, of course, requested. We need to find solutions. We need to find solutions to this backdoor pieces going on. Hello, talk to me, yes? Hello.
Matt, I actually hope you find solutions, Matt, just to confirm that the gentleman from Soufrière who went missing on Sunday,
Yes.
he has been found alive.
Thank God.
And I got this from his brother about an hour and a half ago.
As a matter of fact, somebody's his family up there in Switzerland or somewhere just confirmed that he was found. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. He is probably now taken to the hospital because I heard the ambulance zoom past me about an hour ago, and I imagine by now they will have taken him to the hospital to just examine him and to see if he's okay. You know, he's my friend. We call him Tinna. You know, I spoke to his brother Balau about an hour and a half ago. So far, so good. I hope he recovers well if he's been taken to the hospital. But thank God we found him alive.
Good
Okay,
news.
Matt?
Good news.
Now,
Yes.
Yes. The other thing is, I am hearing the conversation about motorbikes. Now, I observed over the last year or so that there's been a proliferation of motorbikes in Dominica. Now, I know that we in this country do not manufacture motorbikes. I'm not aware we manufacture anything. All right? But the amount of motorbikes I see on the road, Matt, and guys almost knocking me down, you know, even in Soufrière. I've been wondering, well, where on earth do the bikes come from? And the people who've been riding the bikes, Matt, are people who've been unemployed, you know. So I don't know where they get the money to buy the bike. I hope they get it legally. But my point this afternoon is, how on earth can you have a government here and a traffic department here who knows very well that the amount of motorbikes that are in the meter, where do they come from? Are they licensed? Are they insured? If they knock you down, can you have any concession, Matt? And that is my problem. Who is running this country, Matt? You know, in any white country in the world, and I keep on mentioning that, you know, the Africans and the Europeans are absolutely different humans on this planet. You have people here breaking the laws, buying bikes or riding bikes. Nobody asks any questions, Matt. Where did they take the test to ride a bike? In Britain, Matt, if you ride a bike, you have to pass a test, you know, to ride a bike on the road. If you fail that test, you don't go on that road, you know. That's how the white man operates. But in Dominica, I see everybody rides a bike. Even I see people riding tandem, you know, holding the driver around the waist, no helmet.
And even children on these bikes, little children.
Yes, Matt. So, Matt, who runs this bloody country? Matt, excuse my language, you know. There are too much illegalities here. I have not seen that kind of illegality in the European countries. That's why the white man tell you they're terrorists, you know. And people get a bit upset when that is said. But I can see the reason why the white man really has no respect for us at all, you know. You can't live in a country where very little law and order, Matt. People do what the hell they want and get away with it. You know, I cannot understand Dominica. I hope one day we'll have about 12 or 13 guys running this country and we'll say different Dominica. It's not the way it should be, man. Right? I watched a demonstration in Roseau where I see black people getting slapped to the ground, being beaten up because of a demonstration. That would never happen in a white country. The white man doesn't hit the white man. It's only in the African countries you see black people slapping black people, beating them up. The white man respects the white man. But in the black countries, the black man doesn't respect the black man. It's a shame to see what happened at that demonstration the other day. The police had to protect the black people. You know, after all that slavery, after all that beating from the white people doing slavery, you're having black people beating black people in Dominica. The people are not serious, you know. I think both of you are sick, man. And but I'll end by saying, you know, you see, in this country, you know, the people are being marginalized for no reason at all. I hate to see black people being treated like stray dogs, being beaten up, being disrespected. I see a lot of that when I was in Britain in the 60s. The white people didn't really respect the blacks. You know, it's probably getting a bit better now. But to live in a black country And to see your own black people, your black policemen, not respecting your own kind, your own race, it really bugs me, man. I really feel very, very bad about it. And that demonstration you had in town, to see policemen slapping an elderly man to the ground, you people should be ashamed of yourselves. And when the white man said they are superior race, they know what they're talking about, because they don't slap white people in Britain like you do here. They respect them. And it's time you black guys here, the policemen, and you policemen, try to respect our own black people. Matt, I think I'm going to stop there, because if I get going there...
I know. I'll have to stop you. Thank you for stopping there. Let's listen to this voice note. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to understand this. When these guys steal these motorcycles and bring it down to Dominica, how are they getting the motorcycles registered when they go to registry? Aren't you supposed to have some kind of paperwork showing that where you bought the motorcycle and you paid it off? Because I know up here, if I buy a car, I cannot just send the car to Dominica. I have to show paperwork that the car or the truck or whatever is paid off. So when the motorcycle comes to Dominica, how are they getting that motorcycle registered? Unless if they just not getting it registered, they're just riding it illegal. And if they're riding it illegal, where the police to check these bikes to see that, hey, these bikes are illegal and haven't got insurance or no paperwork for them? Just a thought.
Good afternoon, Matt. The Kabui man shared some very important information which the authorities should analyze. That's what one text message is stating at this point. We're going to change the subject in a minute there. So many things to talk about. Hello, talk to me, yes? Hello? Yes?
Yeah, the gentleman before made a lot of sense when you talk about the way blacks are treating black people. But what you have a black Chinese leader in Dominica. You see the demonstrations in America? Do you see people using tear gas on them? Do you see using rubber bullets on them? No. And yet we're talking about the white man. When you have this black guy in power, they are and the white man. I would be very happy if Rick and his Minister for National Security would send or at least 30 to 50 of his police into Haiti. Go and help the people of Haiti. They're so powerful in Dominica. There's guns and they take gas and they rubber bullets. Go to a real zone where you can use rubber bullets on people. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a break and we'll come back. We'll change the conversation as it relates to CBI, the president of the United Workers' Party. And of course, I'll follow that with a statement made the CBI from Mr. Skerritt, and of course we heard from Mr. Thompson Fontaine. We'll add that to that, and sometime later we'll get back to the conversation as it relates to the resignation of Mr. Delbert Paris. So stick around, Dominica, stick around.
Are you concerned about hurricanes? Are you worried about coastal flooding? The government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, with support from the Green Climate Fund and UNEP, is hosting a series of community meetings to help shape the new project and climate-resilient coastal zone management for Dominica. Join us to share your views on the best ways to protect our coastline, from nature-based solutions to infrastructure. This is your chance to speak up for your community. Everyone is welcome. Join us on the following days and time: April 28th at Scotshead at the Scotshead Village Council Office, April 29th in Layu at the Layu Emergency Resource Shelter, April 30th in Calabishi at the Fair Trade Office, May 1st in Portsmouth at the Portsmouth Central Credit Union Hall, and on May 2nd in Roseau at the Roseau Fisheries Complex. All meetings begin at 6 p.m. sharp. Join us. This is your chance to speak up for your community.
Bryce and Company Limited. We manufacture high-quality roofing sheets, 24 gauge in different colors, also to customer specifications. That's right, whatever length you want. Aluminum seamless guttering. We also sell PRC mesh, steel rods in all sizes, breach caps, fencing wire and fencing poles. Free estimates for guttering, galvanized sheets, and fencing wire. Quality products at the lowest prices island-wide. Bryce and Company Limited, located at Caneville Industrial Site, Shed 1A, just before the Old Mill Cultural Center. Call us today at 617-2468 or 615-0178. Bryce and Company Limited, built for living, built for life.
Somebody book Creole, baby, Creole. Mouvement créole à Soukir. Tout le monde créole pour attention. Comité pour études créole Dominique. Et puis Radio QFM qui présenté. Mouvement créole. Tous les mardis soirs en 6 après-midi. Information, blague, interview, l'histoire, problème, discussion, reportage, apprendre à parler et puis écrit créole. Lien avec ton peuple créole. Bon musique créole. Mouvement créole. À nous faire un rendez-vous, messieurs, mesdames. Tous les mardis soirs, tu es qui est frappé avec bon power créole. Sans ça participer, qui est nous rapidement Mamayla, Mouvement créole à seconde station QFM. Voici avec nous tous les mardis soirs 6h pour Mouvement créole. Matchez ça.
The Abraham Cyber Cafe, based in the vibrant community of Woodford Hill, is where you inspire and we create. Call on Abraham Cyber Cafe for all your top quality printing needs. Vehicle decals, custom made tumblers, mugs, and brilliant printing of t-shirts, caps, and a wide variety of ID cards. For top quality, fast, eye-catching, head-turning, high-impact, vibrant printing, rely on the professional printing services of Abraham Cyber Cafe. Call 315-5745 or WhatsApp 276-6522. Abraham Cyber Cafe. We bring all your ideas to life with exceptional brilliance and excellence. The people's choice. You won't regret this experience.
Yesterday, during the news conference, of course, we heard from Mr. Scarrett as it relates to transparency and accountability or lack of through the Citizen by Investment program. As a result, we heard this from the president of the United Workers' Party, of course, and advocates all the time for accountability and transparency with the CBI. Let's now listen to the analysis by Mr. Leonard Clinton, the president of the United Workers' Party, followed by another conversation we had yesterday with Thompson Fontaine.
I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. I'm opposed to selling the passports and the citizenship in principle. I'm opposed on the grounds of practicality. I'm opposed on the grounds that it is not sustainable and that it is reckless to run your country's finances on selling passports.
Every time we raise the bread and butter issue of the more than $8 billion from the sale of Dominican passports that have been diverted from the Treasury to the private control of foreign agents and associates of the ruling Dominica Labour Party. We hear that there is no evidence of any missing money. We're told it's all just political propaganda and all the funds have been properly accounted for.
Of course, all of this information is contained in the estimate. Because in the budget, for example, we have what we expect to raise, and the following year will give you the actual of what you raise. And if you go to the capital estimates, you will see source of funds, CBI. And if you go to the revenue side of the estimates, you will see where it identifies the CBI as a distinct source of revenue.
This is deliberately misleading. So let me explain again. Based on the certificate of naturalization revenue we received for the period 2016 to 2024, we sold 50,527 passports with a sale value of $11.4 billion. But we only received into the Treasury of Dominica, according to the estimates, $3.4 billion, which leaves a balance of $8 billion to be accounted for. $3.4 billion into the treasury means the passport that we have on the market for 100,000 US dollars per passport, we got less than 25,000 US dollars for each one. That makes absolutely no sense. That's how we know money is missing. And we want those responsible to account for the missing money.
These guys have declared war on the country. War on the country.
There is no declaration of war on Dominica or Dominicans. There is a declaration of war on the unlawful, corrupt, incompetent management of the Citizenship by Investment CBI program that has placed billions of dollars belonging to the people of Dominica into the hands of Skerritt's foreign friends. We want our money back. We want justice. And the court action in this regard is entirely financed by the people of Dominica.
And the question is, who's financing the senior counsel? Where do you get 400,000 US dollars to pay a senior counsel to do a case for you in Dominica?
Now, it is none of his business what we're paying our senior counsel, but we're not paying our senior counsel 400,000 US dollars, to be clear. That is what it appears. He is paying the senior counsel representing the government on the case. But they don't have one senior counsel, they have two senior counsels, Anthony Astafan and Rashidas of Trinidad and Tobago. So one senior counsel is $400,000 US, two senior counsel, $800,000 US, over $2 million that he's paying senior counsel for the CBI matter that we have brought before the court. He doesn't have the authorization of the people to spend that money. We're paying our senior counsel with the money that the people give to us for the matter. So we have the permission to spend the money on bringing that case before the court. The government is taking their money, over $2 million, without their permission, the people's permission, to prevent the people from knowing what is happening with their CBI money. Think about that.
And I'm talking about some of the lawyers and some of the accountants and wannabe agents. They now will want to thief as much as they can, as fast as they can. I saw it coming. It took a little longer because I give them some time to clean up. But I know that the money is so sweet for everybody, they won't going to do any cleanup. Because if you really, really clean up, there's not a lot of money. There are so many corrupt practices involved in what I'm talking about.
We hear about MMCE, Anthony Hayden, and those who dare to criticize the blatant corruption that characterizes the collection, the custody, and the spending of our CBI money.
These companies figure out that they might have 2 to 3 years. They're mistaken, but they figure out that they might have 2 to 3 years. And what they will do, they will sell as many as they can, as fast as they can, which means more vagabonds will come in, more corrupt people will come in, more money launderers will come in, more people affecting our security will come in. And what is their oxygen? Money on your backs. By taking your passport, selling it, and you wouldn't be able to get into Europe, you wouldn't be able to get into Britain, you wouldn't be able to get into America. You hear what I'm telling you?
How do you respond to those comments from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves?
The issue of the statement to the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines, I don't think I want to engage myself in a response to this. In a response to this, so I'll just leave it as that, and not to react to the statement. Just I'll leave it as that.
But we get crucified for suggesting or recommending what is good for the program in Dominica. It is considered economic terrorism. And Mr. Skerrit says that we literally want to kill people.
And so we must treat these attacks on Dominica as if you have someone outside your personal home stolen you.
Mr. Police Commissioner, Madam DPP, you're well aware of these statements. This criminal incitement to murder, yet you do nothing.
Stolen your home and breaking your windows and doors and want to set your house on fire with you and your family in it. Because that is what these guys are doing to Dominica.
That is the kind of language that a man is coming with, playing with the emotions of people, tricking and deceiving them on matters that are so important to the growth and development of Dominica. With all the deception and the trickery and the lie, this government has lost the moral authority to govern. And the quicker the people of Dominica understand and appreciate that, the better it is going to be.
So, you said the citizenship program is under threat. I mean, like everything else. I mean, banking is under threat with de-risking. You have trade is under threat by the introduction of tariffs and trade barriers, and even within the Caribbean community, people bringing phytosanitary conditions that prevent you from exporting to the countries. You have shipping under threat. Whether it's from the IMO or whether it's from the position of a imposition on boats manufactured by non-American companies. So every industry, every activity that you'll have, you'll always come under scrutiny from one reason or the other. And the Citizens Investment Program is no different. We believe that in some quarters, people are misinformed. People speak from a point of view of ignorance on some of the issues, and people speak from a legitimate point of questioning. We understand that, but there's some who also speak from a vantage point of deliberate disinformation and misinformation, and unfortunately, the opposition operatives have made this a political football, hoping that the program can come to an end. And it comes to an end, the government won't be able to provide for the citizens, and that would usher in a change of government. Now, the question is, if that were to happen, what would you inherit? And so it's the whole concept of you can't give me biscuit, but you want to take the bread from my mouth. And I think this is why I'm talking about that the program is to be defended. Not by me alone, because this country is not mine. I am just a citizen like everybody else. I happen to have a position in the country, but I am a citizen like everybody else. And everyone in this country will be impacted because the private sector and the developers and the agents are many major beneficiaries of the CBI program. And therefore people's voices need to be heard. It can't only be the voice of a prime minister defending the integrity and the future of our country when everybody benefits. And so this is what we're talking about. And so you go to the court case, for example, there's only one motivation in the court case, is to seek to stop the program. There's no two ways about it. Is to stop the program. People will come under all kinds of disguises to raise concerns. But the opposition's movement has always been to sabotage the country. And they have done it in many instances, whether it's writing to the World Bank on pure lies about the misuse of World Bank funds, whether it's telling the international community do not give Dominica money after the hurricane when we were out there needing help to put people in homes and get people's livelihoods back. So this has been the United Workers' Party and its operatives have been on a mission to sabotage Dominica. Unfortunate stuff. We're not saying that anybody in this country outside Dominica who has a legitimate concern and wants to raise it, fine. But when you raise you should say you're raising a legitimate concern and a legitimate response is given to you. What do you do with it? And you know that we have had numerous public engagements on the CBI program, providing information to people. Not only the political directorate, but public officers have gone out there and provided information to the public on this and expose the program to the scrutiny of the citizens of Dominica. But that notwithstanding, there's still a movement because people recognize that the CBI is an important source of non-tax revenue to the country. And if that goes, and this is what's going to happen, the entire budget of the National Employment Program comes from that. The government's public sector investment program comes from that. The government in a country like ours is the largest consumer of goods and services. What does that mean to all establishments in Dominica? And so this is not about me. I keep telling people this is about the country and how do we see ourselves playing our part in developing the country. And the changes to the program, we're going to have an independent regulatory commission, and there will be some standardized approaches. For example, we will have the same application form. We will have a legal obligation to share information on all applicants with each other in real time, so that if somebody applies in Dominica and get rejected, they cannot apply somewhere else. You'll certainly be informed of this. A number of other aspects that will certainly enhance the presence of the role of the GRCC in the due diligence processes there, and also our engagement with our international partners. What we have done in Dominica, for example, we have created, as I've said before, an independent due diligence unit that vets all the applications which come to Dominica. And that due diligence unit is under the direction and control of the Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit. And all of the officers thus far who are in that unit are police officers, and every one of them has been vetted by the regional security system to work in there. Anybody who's going to work in that unit will be vetted. And I made it clear that they should have zero contact with anybody except the Director of Financial Intelligence Unit. So no agent and no person who has a role to play in the citizenship program can speak to any officer in that unit. They're completely removed from everybody else. All in an effort to enhance the integrity of the program and the transparency of the program. But in respect to the lawsuit, that's for the court to decide. We always respect the court decision. But what I want to say to all citizens of Dominica is to understand the motivation of the LLP. You understand? And the question is, who is financing the senior council? Who's financing the senior council? Because if they say they don't have money to buy a small carnation of milk for a senior citizen who was asking for a small carnation of milk, where do you get $400,000 to pay a senior council?
All right. So immediately, of course, I reached out to the leader of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Thompson Fontaine. I know he's on the line. He's been listening, and I reached out to him. because the fundamental question has been asked by the Prime Minister, and of course, he spoke about the benefits and everything else. So, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, you have monitored. What is your direct response to what you've just heard from the Prime Minister of Dominica?
Matt, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for the opportunity to respond to the Prime Minister. You know, the Prime Minister talks a lot, but says very little. You know, I listened again to what he just said, and it is clear to me that, and like every Dominican, after listening to almost 15 minutes of the Prime Minister talk about the CDI program, we have not learned anything new or different that we did not already know. For example, Matt, the Prime Minister talks about the amount that has been paid for the houses, on average $350,000. What he did not tell us, Matt, is the amount that is being charged by MMC for the same house. My information, and again, it is alleged, I don't have the exact proof, that's why we're in court. My information is that it charges almost $400 US per square foot, which works out to roughly $1 million for every house. So while the local contractors have paid $350,000, the real cost to Dominica is about $1 million per house. These are the kinds of things I would like the Prime Minister to clarify for us when he comes on the radio to speak about the CDI. In addition, Matt, he goes on to say that the United Workers Party is giving the country a bad name, and that we are seeking to stop the program from a CBI case. That cannot be further from the truth. Even went to indicate that the court can put an injunction on the program through our case. This is absolutely false. I repeat, this is false. The Prime Minister should know by now that the case is about accountability. This case is about getting the government to tell the people of Dominica once and for all how many passports have been sold, where the money is going, what is the relationship between Dominica and the government and MMC, the details of the contract. So is it true, for example, that MMC can charge $400 per square foot and give the local contractor $60 per 60 EC per square foot to build a house? That is the kind of information that is lost to seek to get, to edify the Dominican public, to get a better handle as to where our tens of millions of dollars have gone to. We are not seeking to stop the program. We are not seeking to ask the court to put an injunction on the program. We understand the tremendous importance of the program to the country. Again, because the government has neglected the other aspects of development, they have put literally all of the eggs in one basket. We don't want to take salaries away from public servants. We don't want to take the $1,000 that the NEP workers are receiving every month from them. We don't want to take whatever monies have been given to the elderly in Dominica. That is not what we're about. The United Workers Party is a far more caring party. Our concern is to get the accountability to the program. That is what is being sought in the court, and that is what the Prime Minister will have to answer to from the 20. So you can forget about this press conference, listen to the information that's going to come out of the court, because finally I believe the people of Dominica will have all of the answers they've been asking all of this time. Because after all, Matt, this program belongs to Dominica. This CBI program is ours, and it's very important for us to know exactly where the monies are going and to force the government to bring all of the money back into the treasury. So we're actually doing a good thing for Dominica, because if the court case is successful, it will force all of the monies through the sale of the passports to come back into the treasury of Dominica. So that if people are not getting $380 a month, they could possibly get up to $1,000 or $2,000 a month, because there's a lot more money available to them. So we're doing a good thing by the people of Dominica as far as the program is concerned. But let me also address the other issue of the payment, and it was raised, the payment to the lawyers. He said that, in terms of 400, we are getting $400,000 US to pay the senior counsel. That might be the first hint from the Prime Minister of how much he has paid his senior counsel to bring us to court. but we know that the numbers run well into the millions of dollars. That might be a means of him to justify. We have been very clear to the people of Dominica that as a party, we did not have the money to pay the senior counsel, but we felt that in the interest, in the public's interest, and in the interest of good governance in Dominica, that this was a case that needs to be heard by the court to force answers from the government. And that is why, in an effort to pay our senior counsel, we went to the Dominican public. We had free radio funds over a period of time that gave us enough money to start, to give us a down payment, as it were, to our lawyer that is running the case for us. So that money came from the $5, $10, $20 contributions, the $100 contributions from the patriots of Dominica. That has been extremely transparent. We've reported on the amount of money that were raised. We've reported in the past on the amount of money that they have paid to the senior council. So that information is out there. It is transparent. What it would like is an equal level of transparency by this government, especially considering that they are using taxpayer dollars to prosecute the opposition, to let the Dominican public know exactly how much money they have paid to these three senior counsels from Trinidad and Tobago to prosecute us in the court, only to be told at the end of the day that there was no case. After 8 years, that there was no case and that the case was dismissed. That is what we're interested in. Is it $10 million as we have calculated, or is it more than $10 million? Imagine the amount of money that has been spent on prosecuting us to no end when you now have a hospital that has to shut down blood services. So you cannot even do a basic blood test in your hospital right now. The hospital without bed sheets, without paracetamol, a school system without doctors and chalk, and teachers having to put their hands into their pockets for the small stipend they earn every month to buy school supplies. That is the system that we inherited. In the abundance of CBI resources, in the abundance of money into Dominica, we have the worst health system, the worst education system, the worst welfare system. No jobs are being created, and when those jobs are created, they're going to foreigners. We have a government that is operating in reverse, and that is the fundamental difference between a Labour Party government that has fed the country on a diet of lies and misinformation.
All right, Dominica, that was the leader of the United Workers' Party. And there is more. Somebody's asking, of course, before that you heard Mr. Lennox Linton. This man is not a citizen like everybody else. Nobody else gets housing allowance of $64,000 a month. Nobody else built 2 mansions and a luxury house in the last 20 years. Nobody has given themselves an increase in salary of 50%. So tell me to stop making sympathy or looking for sympathy with lies. The question is, who financed your $70 million campaign, 2019 campaign? The question is, where did you get $30 million for your 2022 sham election? Which was $1 million a day. Some questions there on the WhatsApp as we continue to look for answers from the Prime Minister. I'll try to engage Mr. Arnold Roberts sometime later with the Trinidad elections. Well, this morning we spoke in length as it relates to the resignation of Mr. Delbert Paris. There's still a few voice notes. That we need to hear. We'll take a phone calls in a minute. Let's see if we can. I think Mr. Zedler wanted to chime in. Yes, Mr. Zed.
You know, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
You know, today it's interesting that we have this conversation today when news coming out of Trinidad shows us, you know, what is necessary to remove despotic governments. That it is a collective. It is a collective, not a possessive party consciousness, but a consciousness of nation that is going to enable us, if we look at the Trinidad example, to remove this government through political process. You understand? I listened to people today, and a lot of negative was sent Marigot's way and those kinds of things. And I'm saddened by that because you know what is most interesting and what is lost in that process is the people of Marigot were some of the most, you know, concerned people on this brother's decision on March 19th. Marigot, a lot of the Marigot people felt betrayed. A lot of the Marigot people felt concerned about what had taken place. You understand? And so it is not a Dominica against Delbert that realizes that resignation. It is a realization by Delbert and the people and the response from the people of Marigot to him and his decision that led to this resignation. It has nothing to do with outside people. Delbert in of himself was prepared to resign from that position a while back after that decision. It is the acting of people with ulterior interests that kept this thing up till to this day, 6 weeks later. You understand? And so today, personally, I expected more than one resignation, not just Delbert's resignation, but the engineer of this situation to also present his resignation. You understand? We have to clean this house. And I want to applaud Delbert for doing what is supposed to be done. It's not a personal thing. It is that if you make a decision that is in, you know, that contravenes the general consensus as a politician in any other country, that is what you do. You apologize and you resign. It has nothing to do with ending your political career or not ending your political career. That is the process that takes place in politics. And I want to applaud him, and I want to applaud the people of Marigot for having an opportunity last week, Wednesday, to express to Delbert how they felt about the situation. An independent and proud people who have no issue with speaking their mind. So this presentation this morning on your program, or this sort of treating Marigot as some monolithic community in terms of thinking, is disrespectful to Marigot people. Even if it was presented by people from Marigot, it is disrespectful to the tradition of the village. You understand? Because the people of Marigot were seriously offended by Delbert's decision on March 19th. And it has nothing to do with hating Delbert or personalizing Delbert. It has nothing to do with those things. It is natural that when you feel aggrieved as a collective, you exert those kinds of influences as a reaction. That is natural. I think the people, the United Workers' Party is well served by this action here today. I don't think even the president of the party realizes the kind of division that was brought onto the party by both Delbert's action and his action. And he needs to do some serious thinking moving forward in terms of political expediency and the party and country, and stop walking around like everything is well. Everything is not well. Everything is not well. The United Workers' Party was aggrieved by the actions of Delbert Paris and the president of the party. And that needs to be made clear moving forward. I want to applaud the delegates and the people of Marigot and all the people for standing up for what is the right thing to do. When your politician makes a mistake that is grievous to the entity, that is what they have to do. Apologize and resign. God bless.
All right. We also heard from Mr. Baptist, a former president of the United Workers' Party, this morning when he spoke the resignation of Mr. Delbert Paris. Let's listen there for a minute, and we'll engage Mr. Anil Roberts, read the Trinidad elections in a few minutes. Dominica, stick around. Stick around.
Let me say that I personally am not a member of the executive of the United Workers' Party,
Mm-hmm.
but I personally welcome the resignation of Mr. Delbert Paris as deputy political leader of the party. I will hope that he has not resigned as a member of the party. We all know, I think the resignation was late. Personally, as I said, if somebody haven't done something like that when he walked out of Parliament, or he intended to do that when he went to Parliament, his resignation letter should have been in his bag to hand over to the press when he came out of Parliament that day. But that's water down the bridge. I think the most positive comment made this morning was a gentleman from Marigot who, when he spoke, a lady just passed the call to him to make his statement. That we have now in a situation, we have the bills in front of us. It is not acceptable. There are many things that need to be continued. We'll talk about, but the party, as I said, needs to be, particularly the individual candidates, the caretakers, need to go underground and do their work. Do their work relative to what you have as far as electoral reform and what is required to be done to win your constituency and to win hearts and minds. The leadership of the United Workers' Party need to get themselves together and recognize that what happened has damaged us to some extent. Because up to yesterday, you heard the Prime Minister using it. Oh, the bill passed with unanimous support. And this is what they will continue to do on the local stage, on the regional stage, and on the international stage. It was a big error, but it is now over. As I said, I hope that he has not resigned as a member of the party. I know Delbert well, professionally, and his dad, and their company. I've worked with them on many projects. So we have no personal issues between us as far as I am concerned. I consider myself to be a professional. I consider myself to be one who speaks on the issues as I see it, based on principles. And it was something bad that happened. It is all over now. So he has to know if he stays in the party, continue doing his share to make sure the party wins. And if he's going to be the candidate for Marigot, he does his work and so that he can win Marigot. And those other persons who want to give themselves for politics, that they do it. And most importantly, the United Workers' Party must consider and discuss with the other opposition forces how can we collaborate, how can we unify to make sure that this administration has done so much damage to the country over the years will be no more. We can see the disaster taking place in Marigot, in Wesley, Surrey. The airport will be built. Of course it will be built because the Chinese will ensure that it is built. But it could have been built at a much cheaper cost, with more responsible, and so on. Everything this administration has put their hand on as a major project has been a disaster, and it has cost us so much.
Let me ask a question, because some caller is trying to challenge me there via WhatsApp. Did you make any other statement, read Delbert Paris, the next day after you made the first statement? Because I'm a little confused. Did you make basically to say that you said something else?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
No, if I didn't say anything else, if I said anything else, I never called the radio, as far as I recall. I never called the radio on that matter since. And then if I make statement, it would be consistent.
Because the person's trying to suggest that you came the next day and you watered down the statement. I can't remember anything you said after that statement.
You can't be like that.
You can't be like that. Basically, I just wanted to clarify. But on hindsight, Mr. Baptist, did you regret, or are you regretting what you said to Mr. Delbert Paris on that very day?
But I just told you, how can I regret? And I just told you that I welcome his resignation. His resignation should have been much earlier, almost immediate, because the delayed resignation allowed the opposition and the government side to use it. And they used it in the press conference up to yesterday. And I'm saying that is obvious thing. This is why I love British politics, that when the people make a mistake, whether it's prime minister or not, they come out, they apologize, they state, well, yeah, there was some oversight or so, and they submit their resignation. And if the party wants to accept their resignation, the party accept their resignation. This is the honorable thing that should have been done. And this is why they want to discuss it, because it is told it is water down the bridge. And as I'm concerned that if he had done it a week after, the party would have lost the impact that the demonstration had, and the call for genuine electoral reform that had it done so. He didn't have to vote. We all know that, but it's gone. So I'm asking that I hope he has not resigned as a member of the party. He does his work, and that others there do their work. So
but do you still believe, with all the confusion, Mr. Baptist, that this Workers' Party is still the most formidable party in Dominica and the best party?
What you have to replace Network Party? Network Party is the most formidable party in Dominica and will remain the most formidable party for a very, very long time. United Workers Party is in a situation they can win an election, but they have to be very strategic in the way we approach to our campaign and our politicking, both on the radio and in public. Of course it is. And we must recognize that every party has a weakness. And the fact that the other opposition forces were prepared to work with the United Workers Party, we will welcome them and we will work with them, not necessarily waiting for them to come to us, but we can even go to them and see how we can collaborate. This has to be the approach. The Dominican Labour Party is strong in the sense that it has mastermind, it has professionalized the stealing of elections. I read the pieces of legislation. There are so many gaps in there that they will utilize, they will abuse, and they have started to do it. Even the call of the Electoral Commission, the fact that Haiti's piece of legislation passed almost 2 months now, or 1 month plus, and you are telling me that you're now putting a notice out for you to have persons to go and help you implement the legislation as far as the recruitment of persons, and you're giving a 1 week notice. It is because you already have your people. So you're just putting a public thing in front there. You put the question to the Prime Minister yesterday. Can you assure the public that you wouldn't put it that way, but it was effectively that was the intention. Can you assure the public, the nation, that you'll give the Electoral Commission a reasonable time to implement the legislation as far as reconfirmation is concerned, or confirmation is concerned?
Mm-hmm.
What was this response? I put it to him the same time when there was an activity at the
That's true. Yes.
The TSA Center. And reasonable time. And his response, well, the Constitution provides for me to call election anytime. I know that, we know that, but will you give reasonable time to show good faith as far as the legislation is concerned and implementation? So we know where we are. We are in a very hard place. They control the finances. They control the finances of the party.
And he spoke after the question yesterday. He spoke again to the Constitution, that the Constitution gives the right to call election at any time.
We know that. And this is why the legislation is so bad. Because although you have electoral reform, and then you say you have electoral reform and you act, but the existing list that we have a problem with, they have effectively removed residency from the legislation. Meaning that even though you're Dominica for 20 years, once you fill out the form and you provide the information that is required, no question about where you reside. And you can start, except when you come to vote, maybe somebody might be able to see the loopholes there or something. But nothing about that. So they have effectively removed this very thing they have been using to abuse and to steal elections by bringing people from overseas. These are the issues that we are discussing. This is why the people out there demonstrating. But that is water down the bridge. So I can only pray that we recognize what the work to be done. The United Workers Party is not arrogant in its approach to elections by sticking to other opposition forces, and together we can bring salvation to Dominica.
All right, Dominica, you just heard there the former president of the United Workers Party sharing his views. And as we speak, I'm going to try to connect to Mr. Senator Anil Roberts. Of course, we heard of the victory of the UNC, Kamala Bisasa, who will be, I suspect she may have been sworn as the Prime Minister already. But Mr. Anil, are you there with us this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon.
You sound like a very happy man. You sound like a very happy man.
Well, my brother, our country is lighter. We feel a sense of relief as a great weight has been lifted off the necks of the citizens. We had an oppressive, disrespectful, arrogant, corrupt government that was utilizing the resources of our beloved country for their own, enriching themselves, recusing themselves, renting their own buildings for 150 million while drawing a pay, giving labor and workers nothing, 0.001%, but increasing their own pay by 47%. And the people spoke resoundingly. A landslide victory, bigger than the one in 1986. The PNM was rejected.
What do you think was the formula, Anna, for this victory?
Formula was the mass media, which is PNM controlled by their financiers, the power of social media, the power of truth, the power of information sharing, the power of unity won through. The fake media was not allowed to just give the lies and uphold the corruption of the PNM. And so the campaign was brilliant. Our leader, our new Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, stood firm, stood strong, stood with the people. The people, the comparison was clear. One selfish, arrogant, elitist leader against a woman who had achieved everything from small, who came from poverty to become a senior counsel, who topped her class at every level, who showed her track record before that was warped and obfuscated by fake news. They never gave her praise for being the great prime minister she was in 2010 to 2015. The unity of the races coming together, the religions, people of Trinidad and Tobago, uniting under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and the messaging, it was resounding.
Do you think it was a mistake by Mr. Stuart Young to call the election that quickly?
Yes, because he's not a very astute fellow. He's not very intelligent. He had reached where he reached simply because of his daddy's money for his entire life from school. He was a bully in St. Mary's College. He got jobs immediately out of law school in PNM, big money briefs with commissions of inquiry. He got there to be a minister because his daddy put money there. So he never developed the ability to strategize. He's not of the people. He never crossed the lighthouse, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago. He stayed in his little crony clan of rich people. So he was out of touch. And the more he spoke, the more the people realized that this man was not qualified in any form or fashion to be any prime minister. He was selected. He was not elected. So even their own party faithful rejected him because he did not have the testicular fortitude to put himself up against others for leadership. It was given to him, and the people have taken it away.
What is Mr. Rawlings' reaction at this time? He just giving up the party and to Mr. Stuart Young.
Well, he should be crying somewhere, but police might be knocking on his door shortly.
Really? Why?
For a number of things. As we get in there, you will see. Over his campaign, over his reign of terror, they have done such terrible things in Trinidad and Tobago that if we had a fair and balanced, uncompromised police, that lots of them would not have been able to go up for election. But they take over all the institutions. They take away the independence. They take away the independence of the EBC. But the people made the election too big to rig. These despots try to rig elections. They try to voter pad. They try to gerrymander. But when the people rise up and unite, no amount of cheating can work. You will obliterate the evil, and that's what we did in Trinidad and Tobago.
The young people were intimately involved in that election for sure.
Everybody, old across the board, those children, young families, people wanting housing, people who just want water in their taps, people with children, elderly, people, the PNM was attacking everyone from labor to prisoners. So it was a united effort, and it's what we call a real catastrophe down here for the PNM.
What do you think would be Kamala Prasad's priorities at this point in terms of going forward? I know she may have been sworn in as the prime minister already. Or she should have.
The priorities will be to take and to get an in-depth report of the status of our economy, because as far as we know, we feel that the economy has been bankrupted, that the treasury is empty, that we are owing over 145 billion. So she needs to get a full and true status report. Then she already has her plans in place to rejuvenate the economy, form partnerships with our Caribbean neighbors, especially Guyana and Suriname, reboot the refinery, get the Trinidad and Tobago energy sector, renegotiate gas price, start to make the country safe again so we can have tourism like some of our other Caribbean neighbors, because people, when they Google Trinidad and Tobago, all they see is crime and bloodshed. So those will be her priorities. Start to serve the people immediately.
I know you were in Dominica some time ago as it relates to the ERC and a big meeting at the PSU. And of course, you spoke of coalition and getting together. What are the lessons from the Trinidad elections for Dominica at this point?
Dominica is in the exact same position that we were in before yesterday. There is an arrogant leader who is oppressing the people, and people must realize that they must fight and join together, not separate, not argue. We all have a little different idea and a different opinion, but we must all unite under one flag, one unity banner for the greater good of our country. So we have done it here. Dominica must do it there. The two of them, the Rowley and your boy over there, are exactly the same.
You said the same, the very same.
They are the very same. We got rid of our Rowley. Now it's up to you, the people of Dominica, to get rid of yours.
Any further comments as we leave us this afternoon, Mr. Arnold?
God bless. I hope I could come there and take a little 3 days on the beach in that beautiful island of Dominica.
You want to relax?
God bless you all. Stay. What? That would be nice.
All right.
I don't think I'll be able to, but it's a good thought.
All right.
God bless all the people of Dominica. Stay strong, unite, get together, talk, and get rid of people who oppress you, who keep the knee on your neck. Breathe again. If you want inspiration, just go back to the Olympics and look at LaFont jump every day and feel inspired to work hard.
So unity is key. Coalition parties need to come together.
Key. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without equivocation.
All right, Mr. Arnold Roberts, thank you for joining us there at short notice. Thank you very much.
God bless.
God bless you. God bless you. A message of unity. Lessons from Trinidad, according to Mr. Arnold Roberts. Dominica, we just have a few minutes. I think it's about 12 minutes, so we'll take your phone calls as we wrap it up here in the afternoon on the Talk on the Block. Very telling there at the end there, Mr. Arnold Roberts, former senator of the UNC. On the telephone, good afternoon to you. We just have about 11 minutes. Talk to me. Yes.
Yes, first I'd like to congratulate Mr. Arnold Roberts and his team for doing all the necessary groundwork they did in order to give their party a win. Yes, Mark. Arnold Roberts was always on the ground in every which way he could with his party doing the groundwork. So that is how they ended up. And Marco in everything they had to Marco to get the thing running. So they did bring back Camilla Passad there. Thank you, and congratulations to you and your team.
All right, okay. Important message for me there from Mr. Arnold Roberts is the point about, coming together, united force to, of course, defeat the Labour Party, according to Mr. Arnold Roberts. Let's take a phone call, yes? 449-3095-9697. On the telephone, yes?
Hi, Matt. Andy Jolly here, checking in.
Hey, Andy Jolly, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. I don't know. I'm just listening to what's going on and, just seeing if we're making progress.
Do you think we're making any progress?
You know, I listened to Mr. Skerritt speak, what was it, a couple days ago? Man, I was most disappointed in that speech. I couldn't believe the man walked up and gave a speech like that. I said, this party has no more ideas. They're out of solutions. I thought personally that he was going to come on stage and let people know, guess what? Things are a little bit hard in the country. I love my people. Here I am going to put some relief in place. Maybe some tax relief, maybe some tariff relief for the people. Kind of get things moving. Maybe even give us some good news about picking up the garbage around the country. And man, here it comes that he's now asking us to all join in and go ahead and stand behind the CBI program. And I don't know why we're beating a dead horse. The CBI was a bad horse. We got on it. We drank the Kool-Aid. We came out sick. And now we're still saying, no, we should have some more Kool-Aid again. What's going on?
I'll tell you what, Andy, maybe the next 24 hours we'll have a full conversation. But thank you for, of course, joining us here in a short conversation. Let's talk again in the next 24 hours, okay? Thank you, sir.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. On the telephone, more telephone calls. We have just about, 8 minutes before we wrap it up here in the afternoon. Talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon to you and to your listeners at home and abroad.
Good afternoon to you. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Well, I stayed up all night in communication with Anil Roberts to see and find out what was happening. I followed the election right through. In fact, my first assessment when I saw how things were going, I thought they would win 21 seats and then the PNM would win 20 seats because they have 39 seats in Trinidad and 2 in Tobago, make it 41 seats. And because the PNM was boasting about Tobago, but the UNC and the Tobago Party came together in a coalition, and they pick up both seats in Tobago, and then they pick up 25, I think, about their own Trinidad. So they're in Parliament with 27 seats now, and then the PNM pick up the rest and so on. I always thought Stewart would not have made it because, to me, the campaign had a little life in it. I mean, when you see all this red, a little life, and they were well organized in that sense, and they were able to present themselves. When I followed the UNC meetings and even their Sunday rally, I saw this, a sea of yellow, and I said, yeah, they would win and win even bigger and so forth. So he and I was all together all night sending messages back and forth. So I want to congratulate him, Anil, and his party and wish them well, and wish the people of Trinidad well, and to see how well they take their politics serious. And after 9.5 years of PNM, they have changed because their lives are not going the way they expected. And that is how democracy works. And I think the Electoral Commission of Trinidad and Tobago and the police played their part quite well to apprehend those who were trying to bribe voters on voting day. I follow all of that as well. The other thing quickly, though, on the question of Mr. Skerritt and the CBN and who have money to pay senior counsel and could not give a tin of carnation milk. You don't find that's a petty prime minister to be talking about that. It's not your business. I almost used his word he used a couple years ago, Matt, when he said, when he asked about the CBI money. I almost used that word. But it's not your business who get money to pay their senior counsel and so forth. Do the thing well in the country. Run the country properly. And when you have a press conference, don't get yourself so petty about a tin of carnation milk. That's not your business. Thank you so much, Matt.
All right. Thank you, Bosso. Good afternoon to you. You know, during her campaign, Prasad Bisesa promised to raise wages for public sector workers who have been struggling to meet the rising cost of living. She said, and I quote, "This victory is for the senior citizens to keep their pensions. This victory is for the public servants to get their rightful salaries and increases there. This victory is to reopen the children's hospital. This victory is once again to give laptops to our children and create over 50,000 jobs." She also assured those gathered that no one would be left behind, stressing that when UNC wins, everybody wins. There's also been some trouble in Guyana. I'll try to follow that story there. I read the 11-year-old girl was found dead in a pool. As I said, there are so many issues. We're pregnant with issues. We just try to deal with them one at a time. We have 4 more minutes. We'll take a call. But the important message they're coming from Anil, the strength in unity. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Matt. I love to hear Mr. Roberts. Matt, Mr. Skerritt cannot have it both ways. He's so ingenuous. Mr. Skerritt says he spends how much money in the courts, and he justifies it because he says it's a state, and if he doesn't challenge it, it will become law. But then he criticizes the opposition for spending money in the courts to challenge him. When he spends our money, the state money, belonging to us, it's okay. But when the opposition scrapes up money from opposition members from their own pocket to challenge him in the court, he finds that something's wrong with that. That's not fair, man. Something's wrong with Skerritt's head. He only sees what is Skerritt. He doesn't understand the people, and the people have to reject him because he's not seeing the people. He only sees he's staying in power. That's all Roosevelt Skerritt does. And he wants to have his cake and still eat it. Enough said.
Somebody says Mr. Arnold is damn right. 2 elections ago, I wasted my breath when I told my party the same thing. Some of the Blue Brothers, the left, felt differently at the time. It worked in Trinidad twice now, and once in St. Kitts. Put aside the blue, green, and orange colors. Our head is too hard. Somebody's reminding me, if I remember, when the Prime Minister said Garaway can't even buy a tin of paint. Now it's a tin of carnation. Huh? 2 more minutes and we wrap it up here in the afternoon. The talk on the block. Talk to me, yes.
Yeah, I just want to switch a little bit.
Yes, quickly.
What happened yesterday that Ken just reminded me of. When the Prime Minister was asked why is money spent to appeal the case that was dismissed, and then he said he was informed by the AG that if he doesn't appeal it, it will become law. And therefore he must go to the CCJ. That is actually the opposite. By going to the CCJ, he's ensuring that when the CCJ makes a ruling, that becomes law. If it doesn't go to the CCJ, it doesn't become final law. So I'm not sure what kind of advice he was given by the AG, but it was wrong.
Okay, caller, thank you very much. Somebody said they wanted me to emphasize to the young people in Dominica the age of the Prime Minister in Trinidad. She's 73 years old. Okay, if the young people were thinking about age at this time, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is 73 years old. And some people are already suggesting or stating that Mr. Thompson Fontaine is old and Skerritt young. How old is Trump? Trump is what, 78, 79? You know, it happens in Dominica. Once you turn 40, you're old in everybody's eyes, huh? All countries are changing government except Dominica. Cottage is locked in at this time. Mr. Skerritt needs to go. That's a WhatsApp message. Yeah, somebody's asking. Trump is 78 years old. Let's take a final voice note for the afternoon. Yes?
Matt, I know we're on the edge of time. But you know what I do? I don't understand in Dominica. Everybody listen to Matt. Everybody listen to what is going on in Dominica. And they blame the politician, the man that going up for election, and they do blame in their condition. Watch their condition. Why they have to blame who is the leader of this and who is the leader of that and who resign and who don't resign? Watch your situation and make your choice. But you're making your choice on the same corruption, and that is I doesn't hear nobody questioning that. I wish you could play that to let people understand the politicians do elect themselves. They elect the politician and tell they have to stop blaming people. And people give them all the message. They blame Linton, they want to change. Linton resign, give him space. Now Linton should have done that, this and that. Or he lost election, two elections. But Linton do making himself win election. All you have to get the message and vote the proper place. Anyway, Matt, I know we run out of time, and I will listen in my little message. Maybe by now you're familiar with that voice. From Barrido.
Okay, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're always welcome. I've got to go. One of my favorite songs, the song of the year, Calypso. Maybe I'll try to play the message from Arnold Roberts tomorrow. I've got to go. This is the Talk on the Block. Hope you enjoy.